My name is Raf from RPMed. Now, in this video, we'll discuss the 5 top tips that you must know in order to survive the first few weeks of your internship. So, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone. We're about to start a whole new year ahead of us. Now, that means that some of you will be starting your internship, transitioning from your hard working years of studying the books as a medical student to being a doctor at last. Now, that is a monumental step, and that comes with a wide range of responsibilities as well as some troubles that come with it. And I'd like to talk to you about my 5 top tips for surviving that period so that you can have an enjoyable and a meaningful and fruitful and all joyous and all the rest of the things in your first year as a doctor. Okay? This is coffee. Right. So, tip number 1 is for you to remember that interns matter. Okay? Interns matter. Just tell it to yourself, interns matter. I matter. What I do really matters. The reason I say this is because it's very easy to be tempted to think that as an intern, you don't make any real decisions. You follow your ward round and you take notes. You take notes. You take more notes. And you write some path slips. You make some radiology requests. You make some referrals to a surgeon or an endocrinologist or what have you, and they'll just yell at you. You may feel pretty miserable, and it's not uncommon, and certainly wasn't very uncommon at all within my peer groups to have discussions along the lines of, oh man, what I'm doing just feels like I feel like I'm just a glorified secretary. Like a monkey could do my job, and if I'm not here, it wouldn't matter. That is very, very, very untrue. And I'll tell you why. So I worked as a medical registrar. So that's the physician's trainee. And we're heavily dependent on our interns. And I can tell you from experience and for a fact that a good intern makes all the difference. All the difference in the world. In the workings of the unit, delivering safe and prompt patient care. Interns matter. Interns matter a great deal. Without the interns, the whole unit struggles. Remember, it's a team effort. It's a team effort. A chessboard without any pawns, I don't know how good an analogy that is, but a chessboard with its pieces missing will put you at a distinct disadvantage. And same goes. Okay, same goes for a medical unit without an intern, surgical unit without an intern, whatever unit that has an intern. If that's missing, they're in for some trouble. So just keep in your mind that what you do matters greatly. Okay. Number 2. Top tip number 2 is to remember always to eat and drink. Okay. Eating and drinking. You can't do your work. So your work is delivering patient care, right? You need to be in a state that is safe to be delivering healthcare in a manner that is safe for the patients. That's why they're there, and that's why you're there. You can't do that if you're dehydrated, and you can't do that if you're starving. You can't make good rational decisions. You're not in a state to make good engagements with the patients. You can't interact with them the way that you would when you're full, when you're happy. So ensuring that you have something to eat, okay? And it's not difficult. You can carry with you a little muesli bar, okay? And that'll buy you some time. It might not be a full lunch, but it keeps you filled in some way. And if you're thirsty, ask for a pause in your ward round and have something to drink. Like, that's not hard. I'm laboring on this point because as an intern, I didn't eat for 6 months. I went to the hospital, I worked, and then I got home and then I ate. and no one told me not to eat. I just felt like there was an endless list of things that I needed to get done, and I just felt overwhelmed. And now I realize, man, that's such an inefficient way of doing things. So, what I tell all of my interns, all of my junior staff, I'm currently working in intensive care unit where making good decisions really matters. I tell everybody that I work with to stop, have lunch, have something to eat, have something to drink, go to the bathroom, and make sure that you and I and everybody are in a top condition to be able to provide patient care. Okay, so as an intern, you might feel like you're very small. You might feel like you don't have the voice to say, "Hey, I need to eat and drink." That's just untrue. Just say it, okay? And take your time. Go have something to eat and go have something to drink, like I'm doing now. Tip number 3 is to get comfortable calling your seniors. And that's why they're there. And you need to realize that as an intern, you typically you won't be making too many medical decisions. But when you're covering a unit or when you're registrars in clinic, which does happen, and you're the only one responsible for your ward, there may be situations where you're faced with a clinical challenge and you don't know what to do. Instead of taking a guess or instead of ignoring it, just call the senior. Call your registrar, okay? If they don't pick up, call registrar of your neighboring unit, or call someone senior. Just escalate it, because again, as an intern, you may feel timid, you may feel like you don't have a voice, and people will laugh at you for not knowing what the correct decision is for a certain situation. That does not matter. So first of all, actually not a lot of people will think that, and if they do, they're just jerks. And second of all, it's actually your duty to do what is safe for the patients. So if you are alerted about an issue and you don't know what the appropriate response to that might be, or what the answer to that solution, you don't have. So if you're presented with a problem and you don't have an answer for it, call your registrar straight away, call your consultant even, just escalate it and make sure that the patient receives the safe care that they deserve. 4, speak up and ask questions. So this follows on nicely from the previous point of getting comfortable with calling your seniors. Now, what you do need to remember also is that even though your title says doctor, you're a doctor in training and you're a very junior doctor in training. That means you are an upgraded medical student, which entitles you to just ask all the silly questions, because there's no such thing as silly questions. And if anyone says that you're asking a silly question, then they're being jerks. You're entitled to your education. You're entitled to ask questions and have them answered. And that is how you engage again. This is how you engage on a personal level with your consultant, with your registrar. And that's how you show interest also. And that is very important too for your career progression. Just being engaged helps you be a better doctor, helps you become more in tune, helps you find out more about yourself as well, and what kind of career that you might want to take. So speak up and ask questions. Okay. It's good coffee. Now, final and the 5th top tip is to know your limits and think again of your patient's safety. Now, you hear a recurring theme here, patient safety. That's very important. You should do that. Okay? So, what do I mean by this? So, you may encounter situations, for example, in your emergency medicine rotation. You may be you may be assigned a patient, especially if your department's having a really busy day. You may be just assigned a patient and be asked to deal with them. That might include doing certain procedures like venipuncture, intravenous cannulation. It may also include things like a lumbar puncture even. If you've not done a lumbar puncture on a real person, then that is the time for you to say, I have not done a lumbar puncture. I need at least your supervision. It doesn't matter how busy the unit is. If no one has a time to supervise you, and if they're under such time pressure to get things done, then you get them to do it. Okay? Because to do so is compromising delivery of safe patient care. Again, this is a very important thing. You need to be safe about delivering patient care. Okay? Just so know your boundaries. There's a very popular quote that goes around in medicine, see one, do one, teach one. In reality, you need to see like 3, do about 5 under supervision, and then you can do things a bit more independently, and then you can start teaching. So that's the sequence. You need to observe one and have all your questions answered, and before you try that same procedure, you need to be able to visualize in your mind what the necessary steps are, what the equipment you'll be using, and what the next steps will be. Once you're able to do that, then you're in a safe place to be supervised to do a procedure. Okay, and then soon enough you'll be doing lumbar punctures every day on your own. Okay, so those have been my 5 top tips for surviving your internship and making it as smooth and enjoyable and safe and happy and joyful and fruitful as possible. Now, I must say, it is a very, very daunting thought, starting internship, but you worked hard to get there. You deserve to be there. Well done. Okay, be safe for the patients, and have a great time. Learn lots, and I'll see you again with more of these types of top tip handouts. If you want some other material, such as how to deal with certain medical situations, or other welfare type of things, or any kind of tips, tricks, life hacks, work hacks, leave a comment below, and I'll see about doing another video on one of those things. Okay? Take it easy. Bye bye.